Hello and welcome. Thank you guys for joining me. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and also click on that bell button so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you enjoy DIYs as much as I do, don't forget to click on that like button for this video. So for today's DIY, what you're going to need is 2 of these cutting boards and 2 of the wood signs that they have at Dollar Tree right now. Now the cutting board, what we're going to do to both of them is basically divide it in half, which the cutting board is 6 inches in width, and then you're going to divide that by 2, so it's 3. And then where the middle division is at, you're going to go an inch on either side, if that makes sense. So go ahead and do the first one. Like so, and then you go an inch away from the middle line on either side and draw a line. And then what you're going to be doing, and there it is right there, it's just an inch away from the middle line. And what you're going to be doing once you draw those lines is basically we're going to cut. You can either use a saw or you can even use a Dollar Tree saw, because I did do it with that one time and it worked just fine. It takes a little bit longer, but it worked just fine. So just go ahead and cut where all 3 lines are at. So you're going to end up with 2 2-inch piece strips of wood and then 2 1-inch piece strips of wood with one of the cutting boards. So you're going to use 2 of them. Now with the 2 sign boards, which are going to basically be the size of your project, you're going to go from what's going to be the top of your project down an inch and make sure you're in the middle. And then you mark it right there, and that's where you're going to drill a hole. Now you can use a drill like I am, or you can use a hammer and nails to make the opening. Now with the cutting board, what we're going to do is use Gorilla Glue, wood glue, and some hot glue, and basically just put it on one of the 2-inch piece of wood. And then you're going to glue the 1-inch piece of board to that 2-inch piece of board up in an angle, like to make a shelf. And you don't have to use hot glue, but I did because I didn't want it to fall apart while I was moving it to let it dry. And you just glue it like that. Now make sure that the bottom of what is going to be your shelf is even and lined up right. So you set those 3 aside. Now with the 2 cutting boards, you're going to get 4 pieces. You can make 4 shelves, but I chose to use 3 and just save the other parts. So here I am drilling the hole where making the opening where we put that 1 inch up from the top of the cutting board. Now I didn't show you the part, but right here what you're going to do is flip it over, and you can either hammer it again or drill it just to make sure the opening is all the way through. Now from the top of your project to the first line is going to be 4 inches. And then from the first line to the second line is 5 inches. And then from the second line to the third line is another 4 inches. And that's how I got my 3 shelves. Now you're going to need 7 of these popsicle sticks, and you're going to cut them 2 inches, 2 inches each of them. And the way I did it was basically I lined them up with my ruler, and then I measured the 2 inches and just drew a line. Now you're going to need to cut 2 2-inch pieces of wood from these popsicle sticks. So in other words, you're going to have to cut, I guess you could say, a total of 4 inches, but 2 inches each. So if that makes sense. And this is how you just use some good scissors or a box cutter like I am, and then you cut it like that. And you're going to do that to both. You're going to make 2 of these 2-inch pieces of wood from 1 popsicle stick. So you'll end up with 14, but you're only going to need 12 if you do it the way I do it. And I just sanded down a little bit of the edges where I cut it, the popsicle sticks, and then I'm going to sand down the shelves just so there wouldn't be any rough edges. This is kind of, you can use it as a ladder if you wanted to make it with two of the signboards. It would work really pretty, but the way I wanted it and what I wanted it for was for my herbs. But you can use it for so many other things. You can use it on top of a shelf, or even use it like a spice rack if you wanted to. But simply sand them down. And I'm just sanding the area that you're going to see, which is the one that has the lip, I guess you could say, on each one of the shelves, like so, just to make sure everything is, you're not going to get any splinters or anything like that. And you can see how I'm being rough with it and it's not falling apart. The wood glue really does work really, really good, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, what we're going to do is basically use wood glue and some Gorilla Glue to glue on each one of these popsicle sticks. Like so. Now I ended up using just the Gorilla Glue and the hot glue to put the first popsicle stick. And then you'll see that I use regular wood glue to put the second popsicle stick on top of the first one. So that's how you're going to do them. And then see, it's just going to be like a lip to hook on your shelves. But that you lit the first popsicle sticks glue before you add the second one. And then you see I'm using the Gorilla wood glue for the second part. And then you just glue the other one right on top and just make sure it's on top, evenly. And then set it aside for a little while and let it dry and do the second sign, which will be the opposite side of your project. Let me know in the comments down below where you're going to use yours. If you're going to use it like I did for my herbs to put by my window, my kitchen window, or spices or coffee or wherever you're going to use it. Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so once they're both dry, what we're going to do is start gluing our shelves to our two sides. So you're going to use Gorilla Glue, wood glue, and my hot glue gun is what I'm using. You can even just use the regular fix-all glue or the E6000 or the Gorilla Glue, but I'm using the wood glue. I'm trying to finish what I have so I can go ahead and get a new container. So I'm using a regular stick to do that, to take it out of my bottle. But go ahead and add glue to your sides, the hot glue, and the wood glue to your shelf. And then you line it up to the bottom where you put your popsicle sticks, which is, to make sure you have both sides even. And then you what I did was I set it aside and let it dry for a little bit and then continued adding the second and the third shelf. Then I let it dry for a few hours. Now what I'm going to do is paint it. And I chose to paint it my black chalk paint with the mixture of white. So it's going to look a little gray, but I decided not to do it. I decided to go ahead and paint it all completely black after I painted this because I just thought it looked better black. So once you let it completely dry, and you can see I didn't really paint too good of really good detailed because I'm going to sand it down. I wanted it to look more of the farmhouse country old style. So what we're going to do is get some jute twine and the holes that you drilled on the top of your project. I used a piece of wiring, bent it in between my jute twine, and then I pulled it through the openings that I made on top of my project, like so. That way I could have double straps of the jute twine so it could be secure to hold whatever weight I decide to put on here. Another option is if you wanted to make it, hang it on your wall and make it flush, you could put two hooks, like picture hooks or something like that on the back of your project or shelves if you want to call them that, and go ahead and hang it on your wall and it'll be flush to your wall. So what I did on either side of this is tied it about 2 or 3 times. Then I'm adding some Gorilla Glue around the opening, like there, just to give it that more security, to make sure that it doesn't, pull through or anything like that. Again, just depending on the weight that I'm going to add on here. But I mean, I'm not going to add tons of weight, but this is something that I want to be sturdy and used for a long time. So I'm sure I'm going to get tons of use of this out of this project for a few different rooms. And what I did again is I wanted to rough it up. So I just went ahead and sanded it down a little bit, just the edges, to give it that old rough farm style look that I like. And this is completely optional. And then once you're done sanding it all down, you're basically done. And again, like I said, I'm using it for my herbs. I want to put it by my window in my kitchen. But let me know what you're going to use it for. And I'm adding a few pictures of different ideas that I had of where I might use it somewhere along when I get tired of using it for my herbs. I don't know if you guys are the same way. I move my furniture and everything around and use it, recycle it for different projects, different rooms. So this is the way I'm going to use it once I get my real herbs. But I wanted just to put some flowers in here to let you know, see how it's going to look once the herbs start growing. But and also another idea is like so by your coffee machine to put your teas and cream and sugars and your little coffee cups. So what do you guys think? Till next time. You guys stay blessed. Bye.